Hello and welcome. My name is JodieLynn Craven, founder of Abundance Consciousness, and this is my dear friend, Heather Marie.
Hi, I'm Heather Marie, founder of Soulgate, and welcome to Channel Squared, where we have extraordinary conversations about everyday life topics.
Yeah, we do. And today we are diving into the channel, Mrs. Heather Marie. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. I am literally, probably outside of your husband, your biggest fan. I might even rival him. And this topic, you being the topic, is so incredibly important. And the way that we teed it up on social media is we were saying, the most difficult questions that we ask in our lives, we ask in those quiet moments to God, to the universe, to the creator. And we go about our lives waiting for signs, hoping we're on the right path and, waiting for that inkling that we're doing the right thing, that we're on purpose. But that is one of the deepest questions that humanity has, is what is my purpose? And that's precisely what you help people do, Heather, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I have clients that come with all sorts of lifestyles and plans and things that they want to do or have done, career changes, giant moves, leaps and bounds in their life. And I feel like when somebody works with me or someone like me, it can bring a lot of peace to their life. Because oftentimes when I start working with somebody, things are in a bit of disarray. And so it's nice to finally know everything that you came here to do,
Right. What a huge purpose. Like, where where do we even start? Maybe we start with your title, the channel. Where'd that come from?
So the channel, the title, the channel, actually came from the other side. So when a soul comes here to do a specific job, the other side recognizes that soul as their title. So, and you see this even on the other side, when we talk about ascended master guides or master guides, when they announce themselves by their title, not by a name, not by their role necessarily, but as their actual gift, their who they are, like what their job is. So when they, the collective they on the other side, when they talk to me about me, they refer to me as the channel. And that is what they call me. Yeah.
That's incredible. Cool. And we all have a title. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It really is interesting because, obviously there are souls that came here for, ascension purposes or whatever, right? And then there's souls that have come here for other purposes. And the ones that are here to do these kind of like spiritual jobs, in a sense, they are referred to as their job. Um, it's just how they communicate it, really. So me here, Heather the human is Heather the human, and over there I'm the channel.
The
So
channel. Wow. In a world of billions, you are the channel. I think that's
yeah,
pretty
and
incredible.
next week we're also going to learn another title. We'll just throw that little bit out there.
Someone else's,
Someone
perhaps.
else's.
Yes. Okay, well, let's start, from the beginning. How did you end up here? How did you end up being a channel? What was, the turning point? Like, did you just wake up one day, Heather, and you're like, I'm going to talk to God?
Oh man. Yes. No. um, so I guess I mean, I think that people who've been kind of following our channel for a while know that, I've been this way my whole life. And when I decided to come here, my soul decided to come here. It came here to evoke great change. It came here to make sure that that side still had a voice because of the ascension that we're in, the way that the polarity exists, the ascension path that the earth is on. So when I agreed to come here for this glorious time, I came here to bring forth the messages that the other side needs to bring forth, and to provide clarity and to provide certainty in uncertain times. So that being said, how in the world did I reconnect with my gift, I think is the question.
Yeah.
I knew, and I did. I knew, and then I did. And so I started practicing, and I started, developing rituals and, various things to make sure that I did it the right way, because I was very clear of one thing, and that is that polarity really exists. And I did not want to fall prey to that polarity, as some channels have over the years.
Mhm.
And I just started, and I just started doing it safely and working on it and practicing. And I have spent a lot of time in silence, meditating and journaling and free writing and all of the things that, a lot of the things that I lead my clients through, really. I mean, when I am helping somebody become a channel, a better channel, a new channel, whatever it is, when I'm helping somebody do this, I'm running them through my program. What did I do? How did I get here?
Yeah.
Because we all have the ability, but it's how we utilize the ability and how we respect that ability.
100%. And I think you're being really modest, Heather. Everyone can channel. Yes. Right?
Right.
Some people have turned it off in this lifetime, I assume, and that's why they don't receive anything. And maybe you can elaborate on how it's a little bit different for others, how they receive downloads or things that come through. But your channel is very, very special. Do you want to tell me why, or should I tell everybody?
You tell everyone why, and I'll elaborate. How about that?
Okay. The way, and I'm probably going to get all the words wrong because I don't know the exact right words. I just know how it feels for me when I have worked with you. Heather, I know that there's a lot of different channels out there, and people get different downloads, and they're absolutely amazing. But when I work with you, when I'm in your presence, it's the clearest channel, like as if it was a radio dial, and everything else has this, even really good channels. Like I would say I'm a pretty good channel. There's still this potential for like a smidge of static or something, and when I'm with you, I find that it's clear as a bell. The message is, clear. There's that clarity piece there. It's very easy to connect. If you had like the, highway, you're like the Autobahn to God. And I don't know if that's a great way to describe it. And maybe, or not maybe, it's definitely because of all the thousands of hours of work that you have put in within this lifetime, and many others, but within this lifetime of practice, the thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars you've spent having teachers teach you and surpassing those teachers and getting the next one. And then, coming to this place where you can stand in your own. And I mean, we were even talking about it the other day. I have a huge target on my back because of the work, the reason why I'm here, my purpose. And you were even saying, that doesn't bother me anymore. I just, they can't, F with me anymore because I am who I am. You're just rooted in this knowing and this understanding because of all the practices that you have.
Right. Well, and I think the thing that's the most important is, and the way that I've been able to develop the skill set that I have is that I use the skills that I have to confirm, validate, test, extra confirm who it is I'm talking to and where I'm receiving my information. Sometimes channels will they'll hear voices in their head, and they're like, am I just making this up? The ones who are still skeptical of the fact that they're channels, they're usually thinking, oh, I just have a wild imagination. Awesome, but probably not. The thing is that when you are hearing these voices in your head, who are they? Where is that information coming from? Mm-hmm. Are they voices in your head? Are they dead people hanging around you? Is it polarity? Is it light? Where is that information coming from? So I think the thing that makes me as clear as I am is that I test constantly. I check the vibrational signature of every single being that I channel. I do not give a voice to anything unless I know 100 bazillion % who it is that I'm talking to.
Yep. And not just once, every time.
Every time. Every single time. And it's really easy for channels to kind of fall into this oh, I'm good. I know what I'm talking about. I know who this is. It's this being or whatever. And they stop checking. And they just, be out on the street and they're like, oh, hey, let me get a download real quick. Well, what about all your rituals? Mm-hmm. The thing is it's not just about even knowing who you're talking to and checking their frequency, but it's about the respect that you give your craft. So some of you know that I am a retired permanent makeup artist, right? If you are going to come in, for you ladies, I mean, the guys will probably resonate with this too, but if you ladies were going to come in and you were going to have your eyebrows tattooed on your face. Now, we've all seen crazy eyebrows, right? They're the blue and pink ones that you see walking around town. Okay.
The ones that go, whoop, whoop.
Exactly. So, you see these terrible jobs, right? And you think, oh, I don't want to go to somebody that's going to give me a terrible job. So you're kind of freaked out about it, right? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't just go have somebody tattoo your face without them knowing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't go to a plastic surgeon and have them operate on you without actually knowing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. You want to go to the experienced one. You want to go to the one that's spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on their education. Mm-hmm. You want to go to the one that has such respect and dedication to the craft that they're providing to you that you're going to have an amazing outcome. Every channel should be respecting their channel with that same regard, because the things that come out of your mouth as a channel change lives.
Yeah.
You can completely alter someone's life by what you say. And there 100%. there is, you have to have some like respect for that. It's not all just rainbows and butterflies and it's not that. The things that you say change lives.
Yeah.
And people carry that information like it's gospel.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I think even, I have a lot of protections because I was taught by you. I'm a good student. Not always, but I try. I'm a good student.
You're a great student.
Thank you. But I would still say that as good as I believe that I am now, I still have a lot of work to do. Maybe time doesn't exist. It's, a construct and whatever, but it's that 1,000 hours or 10,000 hours, that repetition, because I still find myself faltering or stumbling, especially when it's things like close to my heart, things I want to be true or whatever. If I was to channel on, am I going to get pregnant? Is there going to be a boy or girl? Whatever. It's like crickets. I get zero information because I'm so tied to that information. And I think that's really the key for any channel that's really listening, or for anyone to take away from this, is that you've mastered this craft. And I don't say that to boast, but I say that just so lovingly, that you are this light that allows other channels to come home, to really sharpen their instrument and be the best that they can be.
I mean, ultimately, I feel like helping others become the best channel that they can be, the only thing that happens there is the whole world benefits.
Yeah.
The whole world benefits. So the more leaders I can get my hands on, the better our world will be. I know 100%. This. I know this to be 100% true.
It's like some cascade.
Exactly. And, it's interesting. I had a very dear friend, talk to me about, human ego and how channels may not reach out to another channel for assistance with their channel. And it's, their human ego is like, well, what do I need her for? Hey, we're all in the boat together.
Yeah.
Let me help you row.
Yeah.
Like,
let's build a galactic, special iron from another planet, or so that, and make it mechanical.
Exactly. So we don't have to worry
this. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love
exactly. That. And the thing is it's like, if we all work together, we all benefit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
100%.
Working with other channels, like, healers need healers too.
Yeah.
Healers need healers, channels need other channels, like if you're a dentist and you need a filling, are you going to do it yourself?
Gosh, I hope not.
I hope not, probably not. You're probably going to go to your buddy and be like, yo, bro, I got a toothache. Can you fix it? It's a cavity. I want it done like this.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scott asked a great question. So he said, channels are very important, but why doesn't the divine tell us directly? Is there a law in place that stops that?
Oh yeah, great question. I mean, the thing is that there's always the universal law of free will. And you came here to experience free will.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have free will if the divine just gave you every answer? Part of being here is reconnecting and reuniting with your soul and what it is and who you are and what you came here to be. And like, that's part of the joyous journey of being human. And you get the joy of experiencing polarity and you know, having a family and, you know, getting stuck with a splinter, you know, like all of these things that, you know, if the divine came along and said, hey, you know, you shouldn't work with wood, Scott, because you're going to get a splinter and it'll get infected and you might lose your finger. Scott may not work with wood because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have robbed himself of so many years of joy because of this.
Yeah.
Even if it's going to end badly, he would have robbed himself of all of the joy leading up to the bad moment. And even then, he may have discovered something new in the bad moment that he wouldn't have gotten to discover. Mm-hmm. That, you know, maybe Scott's wife could heal that splinter and heal that finger, thus changing the trajectory of their entire life. Yeah. Because his wife is an incredible healer. Yeah. You know, it all builds on itself. And, you know, I always talk about when I met my husband, it's a clear indicator about the plan. Mm-hmm. You know, if things didn't fall into place the way that the universe put them in my path, I would have never met him. Mm-hmm. And if I would have met him any other way, it would have never worked out. So meant to be. Yeah. And if the divine just gave me the answer, how different would my life have been? I wouldn't have had maybe the terrible relationships that I had leading up to meeting him. I wouldn't have been able to appreciate him the way that I appreciate him. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't have that bad experience. Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful for, you know, the law of free will. Lets me get to direct my own ship, build my own life.
Yeah. And I think too, maybe the divine is always talking to us. We're just not really listening.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
Someone called you to go to wherever you went to meet your husband, and, you know, you were obviously listening to that call and you didn't expect that, but they knew.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the way that I see that you're different is direct answers. Yeah. You know, and this certainty. Yeah. Let's dive into more of what exactly you do. What do you do, Heather?
I zone out and bring in the big words. No. Well, okay. So I think that, yeah. I when I channel, I have two types of channeling. I have conscious channeling where I'm here having a conversation like we are right now. And then I pluck the information and it filters through my brain and I kind of work this conversation. It's kind of like having a phone to your ear and you're having a conversation with someone in the room and you guys are talking and then you're relaying and then they're saying, oh yeah, and then you're relaying it back. It's kind of like that. And then there's trance channeling, which is when I move my consciousness to the side and I allow the being to take control of my actual voice, my physical voice. So even though you're hearing my voice the way you're hearing it now, the language changes. Mm-hmm. And it's very evident that Heather, the human soul, is like my little consciousness is not actually here. My little brain is like, I'm over here on vacation. And, you know, my voice is actually being controlled by another being. When I do this, again, testing, making sure that I know who it is that I'm channeling. And when I do a first time channeling with somebody, I tune into their frequency in advance of their appointment. And I do this so that I can feel what's in their field and start to build a relationship with their high self, their master guide. You know, I feel their frequency, their vibrational, their signature. Like I get all of this information in advance of our time together because I want to know that when I relinquish that control, that I know the being that is going to be controlling it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also set up protection around this state. I give the person, experiencing the session a safe phrase to get out of it. If they're uncomfortable, I don't want them to continue. I give them the ability to have it end just like that. That way the person receiving the information can feel like they're in control of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the nuts and bolts of channeling, the channeling sessions that I do. I also work with clients on discovering what their purpose is, their plan, why they're here. I work with people who feel like they've had this like greater calling. And anyone who's listening to this knows what this like greater purpose feels like. It's like this burning desire inside. It's like, that you're here for more than what you're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
I work with souls that are here like that. I work with, creative entrepreneurs that are, developing heartfelt programs that are going to assist others in being their extraordinary selves. And, I work with other channels in kind of a mentorship capacity. So that kind of, I guess, in a nutshell, is what I do.
Okay. But there was a lot there, Heather. So let's take each of these by pieces. I would just grab my pen because I was going to write them down to remember to go back to each of them. Okay. So those who feel greatly that they're being called to something, I'm meant for more. You're going to say something like that. I know I'm destined for great things. You connect with them, they're eventually connect with you with whatever form or fashion they find you, and you channel their higher self, or is it, the New Earth Collective, or is it God, or who do you channel to get them this information?
It really depends. It really depends. When I tune into somebody's frequency, I immediately get a validation point of, are they here for great things, or are they here to experience the 3D? And when I get that like hit of, oh, wow, they're here for something massive, at that point, I don't go much further into it. And this is in advance of their appointment, because I do not practice spiritual voyeurism. So,
what's that?
Spiritual voyeurism is when you read people or you work in their energy without their permission.
Oh,
if you are going to be working with people in this capacity, you must have their permission, because it's the same thing as, spying in someone's house through their window. Like, yuck. Don't do it. Just don't do it, people. It's just not good. Like, it's totally rude, And the thing is that, sometimes people like slip up and they'll do it. And it's not out of like a malicious intent. It's more like, oh, I can feel them. And, they need a little bit of zhuzhing up, I see it with healers a lot. They'll kind of be like, oh, I love this person so much, I just want to help them. And it's fantastic and it's wonderful. And your big juicy heart shines so brightly in that moment, but just don't ask, ask if it's okay. If you can give them a little bit of send them a prayer if you don't think they're open to it, but where was I going with this? Oh, yes.
So you connect if they are, destined for this big mission, or whatever you want to call it, then you wait until the actual appointment.
Right. Exactly. And, if I feel like I need to go further into it for some reason, I'll reach out to the client and I will get on a discovery call. And I usually do a discovery call with everybody anyway. But if it's somebody that's, they're coming in and they just book their appointment and, there's no discovery call in the books, I'll kind of check in, tune in, see what's going on, just from a like are they here with a purpose, or are they here for 3D? Like, kind of like give me something so that I know if I need to meet with them in advance of their session and prepare them for their session. So typically, people who are like attracted to me have a big purpose. I tend to call forward the big guns, the ones that are like, I'm here to save the day. Those are the ones that I tend to find are called to me the most.
Yeah. Okay. I have another question.
Yeah, I have an answer.
There's more. There's a couple of questions. Okay. So you've said this already. I just want you to explain. I thought, because I have had the burning desire, my desire burns to do great things. And I just thought everybody was here to do great things or have like this enormous purpose. Mm-hmm. That's not the case.
No. And I know that some people might feel sad hearing me say that, but what if your purpose is to come here and just enjoy the earth as the big playground that it is? Would that be so bad? Maybe you're here to, I don't know, climb a mountain and then set a world record in, I don't know, like scuba diving. What if you're here to raise good kids? What if you're here to bring in the next earth leadership? That's a huge job. That's a huge job in the 3D. Mm-hmm. You're going to bring in these magical beings, these magical souls. It may not be like, oh, I'm going to, I don't know, build a new planet, but you are building the little humans that are going to run that planet. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a giant deal. You got to teach them how to play and have fun and hang on to their connection. Mm-hmm. I had a client once who she had people around her who were up to big things. They were very ambitious. They were changing the world, saving the dolphins. I mean, they were like, ending world hunger, these kind of people, right? And she felt very insignificant because she didn't feel like she wanted to do that. And she kind of felt like she was broken because she wasn't up to doing these great things. She just kind of, like she applauded them. She loved being a part of it. She loved being in their energy. She loved their friendship. Mm-hmm. She just wasn't like, she kind of felt bad that she didn't feel like she needed to change the world.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. And the information that she got was, hey, you're just here to experience the 3D. You came here to, have a partnership, to have kids, to have a nice car, to have a nice house, to surround yourself with amazing people that are doing amazing things. Mm-hmm. You are exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And all this information came through in trance for her. And of course, after I came back from La La Land, where, my brain goes, I asked her how it went. And she was crying. And she was like, that was the most amazing thing I've ever received. I feel so much relief that I don't have to save the world like all my friends.
Yeah.
And that it's okay. And then I'm not doing something wrong.
Yeah, I think that brings up a big distortion we have within society, that you have to do something great to like save the world, to be something great. And mm-hmm. there's people on the planet who are here to experience just joy, love, happiness, whatever. Sometimes I think, wouldn't that be nice?
I know.
A little bit of envy.
So blissful. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm just here to play.
Exactly. And, and the thing is that her just being in that place of happiness, that's infectious.
Yeah.
Everybody
So
loves to
important.
be around her because she's just fun.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Such an important distinction. Thank you. And then you said something else. You said sometimes I'll jump on an extra call with them, or I can't remember what you called it, discovery call, I think, and prepare them for their session. That feels big. What, you know, I have my own experiences, and if you want me to share, I will. But you know, what do you mean prepare them for their session? Now we're really getting into like what you really do in these sessions.
Okay, well, when I prepare somebody, and please chime in with your experience if you wish. When I prepare somebody for their session, I kind of talk them through what to expect. So, I don't want to just check out and then they're like staring at me that's not me anymore. Like I kind of, let them know how I move my consciousness to the side and what that means and like how it works and all of that, kind of like I just did. And then I kind of talk to them about how to frame their questions, because it's really easy to ask a yes or no question.
Mm-hmm.
And most people want a definitive yes or no. Fine. Ask a yes or no question. And then when they give you yes or no, what else are you going to ask? Because don't you want to know more? Like, is yes or no sufficient for you? Like, you're literally talking to God. You're going to be okay with yes or no? Like, so
yeah, I'm done.
That's exactly. So like, I kind of like help them develop their questions, and help them understand like why you need to ask open-ended questions. And if you don't feel like you got the right answer, ask it differently. Not the right answer. I shouldn't say the right answer because it's not a right or wrong answer. If you don't feel like you got enough information from the answer that was provided, ask more questions around that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had sessions with people where they've asked one question and we took 45 minutes to answer it.
Wow.
Because that one question was actually 15 other things.
Mm.
I mean, how do you think that your experience went?
Well, I don't really remember the discovery call or the preparation, but what I was alluding to,
I don't think we did that for you.
I don't think so either.
I think we just jumped in.
I think we jumped in.
I was like, let's go.
Yeah, that's right. It's time. Go. The first one was mind blowing, beyond mind blowing. But I think some people treat this like a party trick. Oh, I'm gonna, connect with Heather and talk to God and, ask whatever, am I doing it right? Or whatever. And what was the most astonishing, I guess, for me, was I wasn't prepared to hear what I heard. And I don't think a discovery call could have prepared me. That's probably why we spent 2 hours on the phone after my initial call. But when someone has this yearning or, burning or whatever, in the best kind of way, of your purpose, this calling for something more, when I was sitting, I actually did it in my car, I remember, and, Heather's on Zoom and I'm looking at her face, and then, she checks out. I knew I was sitting with the right hand to God. I knew that I was speaking to the divine right then and there, not only because your voice changed, but because of the information that was coming out of their mouth. And, our purpose, we float with like, oh, my purpose is to save the world. My purpose is to, la, 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 la. But then when you find out your purpose is to, to evoke great change because you are the channel of the world, the channel of the channels, have this cascading effect that it affects the world, or whatever your purpose is, it is larger than life. Like, in my opinion, it blew my socks off. Like, are you sure this is what I'm going to do? And I was one of those people. I had a list of questions all typed out. And every question that I had was basically like, can you verify that this part of my program? And can you verify this part of my program? Which we can talk about how you do that for people as well. But within the first question, okay, I want to verify some of the information that I have channeled. They're like, it's good. Trust yourself. Next. That was like all of the questions. Okay. Like, oh no, now what? And then, that's when we went into our conversation. So I think when somebody is being called, there is a reason. And then when they connect with you, what it did for me was hearing, God say that this is the reason you're here. This is the reason why you chose this life. And, you've got the whole universe supporting you. That I can't measure that. I can't put that into words for you, what that did for me.
Well, and I think that, the common message that comes out of every single session is that you have the power of the universe behind you and that you're not in it alone.
Yeah.
So many times, especially with people who are on the spiritual path, sometimes it's easy for them to feel like they're all by themselves, that they're doing it alone, that they're swimming upstream, that, it's hard, and while I am a huge advocate for doing shadow work, the thing to remember is that the universe is here to support you in this. You have a team, everybody has a team of guides around them all the time, a team. Most people don't even have a team in their job, and they've got a team for their life.
Yeah.
So even though, you may feel alone, you're really not at all.
What just popped into my head? On my wedding day, I had a team of people. Like, I had, my wedding planner, and then she had people that were doing the chairs, and people that, like, the bartender, and like the DJ, and like there was a team of people for our wedding that were supporting the entire day. And I paid for all of those things because I could see the value in having that team. That was for one day of my life. Mm-hmm. And you help, leaders be connected to the team that they were delivered for this lifetime, for their extraordinary purpose that they have. I mean,
yeah, something like that. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. So then another thing that you do is you help people channel pieces of their programs, channel philosophies, channel, the keys to the universe.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that when people are developing programs, oftentimes they wonder, is it the right information? Is it going to land right? I'm missing something. I just need a little something. Sometimes they're just got a block and they're like, I can't get any content to come into my head. And so someone like me can come along and be like, oh, here, well, let's look at the catalog. Oh, I know. Why don't you lead a course on this? Because this is what they want you to talk about, And so an idea is born. And then as they start developing it, I'm like, let's see. They say that you need to add this other little bit of information. Boom, a whole new chapter is born in this program. You see? So like that's actually kind of like a fun, that's a really fun thing for me, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. I'm like, oh yeah, do that,
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that next.
Exactly. I'm like, let me count my money, because this is going to be awesome. So, and it's really, exciting to be able to support people who are creating these programs to help others, you know, they have the information. The information's there. They just can't quite access it. Yeah. You know, the information is meant for them. We're not taking it from somebody else, right? This information is divinely sent to them. For whatever reason, they are unable to pick. It could be that they've got a lot going on in their life. Like their physical 3D reality is just a lot right now, but they know that they got to create the thing that's going to help others. So they're like, hey, Heather, can you help me bring in the information so that I can create this thing for everybody else? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is their content. Yeah. I'm just a vessel to help deliver it to them.
Yeah. Wow. So you create a course with, the universe, God, angels.
Yeah. Why not?
They know everything. No big deal.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then another thing that you do is you help leaders who have this burning desire to, learn to access this information, learn what their purpose is, and then guide them on their path. Am I saying that, eloquently enough?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think that kind of piggybacks with like mentorship, right? So I think when people come to me that are looking for a way to gain access, they're wanting to tap in to this universal knowledge, because the truth of it all is we all have access. The access is there. We're connected to it. Sometimes we may need to do a little energetic cleanup. Sometimes we need to, realign, the hara line or something. It could be various things that could be causing a little bit of, distortion in the ability of pulling the information. And sometimes it's just, they just need to learn. Sometimes they already have access and things get a little funky. And it happens very subtly. And so they don't actually see it happening until one day they're like, gosh, I just, this is for like, my fellow channels out there. They're like, gosh, I just don't really feel like my channel isn't really clear. It's like I'm hearing my information through a layer of static. Yeah. Or I'm sitting there and I'm like meditating and I'm trying to get the information and I'm like, I just can't. It's just stuck. That's where, I can come in and help them, relieve the pressure. Let's look at who they're talking to. Let's look at their process. Let's look at their rituals. Let's look at their team. Yeah. Let's look at everything. Let's just rip the bed sheet back and see what's underneath.
What's in there?
What's in there?
I did several one-on-one sessions with you in trance, talking about, my purpose and my philosophy and all of these things. And then it got to a point where I needed more. I wanted to learn how to do this properly. I wanted to learn how to protect myself. I wanted to learn how to gain more access. So it was fluid, not, oh, I'm driving and shoot, I got to pull over because I'm getting this major download. And there's no way that I will remember in 15 minutes from now when I get home, like how to control it, how to set those boundaries. And that was something that you and I worked on for months. Was understanding what my capacity was and then growing that capacity and really protecting that channel, having that respect for that other side. And that takes time and a lot of skills.
Yeah. And, and I see that a lot with like upcoming, spiritual leaders, channels. A lot of them, they leave their channel open 24/7, 365, like, what? Like I think about the amount of information that comes through me every single day. And if that was on all the time, I would go insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So when people come to me and they're like, oh yeah, no, I don't have a ritual like turn it on and turn it off. And I'm like, well, we are going to establish one right now because you're probably not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not sleeping. You don't know if you washed your hair because you got some huge download in the shower. Like you're really not sure how you went from your house to your office today because everything in between you were completely gone in la la.
Yeah.
You know, like what if you could harness that information into specific time blocks in your life, in your day, in your hour? You know, they'll wait. You just got to make them wait. Be like, yo,
right.
I need a moment to myself.
Yeah.
So
what if you could fine tune so greatly? This is what you did for me. Fine tune so greatly that on command, you can, after you've done your rituals and protected yourself, you could go in and ask the questions, get in 15 minutes later after you've gotten the answers that you need in this moment, you're out. Like
right.
instead of, like waiting. Yeah. Something come to me, speak to me, that's what you do is to teach that fine tuning to those leaders who really want to connect.
Right.
That's
right.
powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Autobahn.
Yeah.
You can go as fast as you want in a very short period of time.
Yeah. And you can hop on whenever you want.
Exactly. And you're not forced to drive on it, So I think that, having the ability to turn it on, turn it off, get your information, get in, get what you need and get out, because, and the thing is that, being an energetic being, somebody who really, like, I'm really sensitive to energy. Like it's, if I don't pick up on someone's energy, it's because I'm choosing not to. That's how sensitive it is for me. And the beautiful thing about it is I can choose not to. I can choose not to receive messages. I can choose not to feel everybody's energy. I can choose this. Do I choose to not feel the energy very often? Not really. I'm kind of an energy junkie. Let's be real, but, and there's times when it's like, I can't go out of my house because it's too people-y outside and I don't want to deal with that. Could I turn it off? Yes, I absolutely could turn it off and just go out. But I kind of like, I like being in my little happy feely bubble. So yeah, I can teach you that.
That's amazing. Something when we were talking about polarity, another something that happened to me, my personal experience with being, whatever you call it, hijacked or distorted or whatever, because yes, it did happen to me. This is why I have, Heather on retainer, because when you work in the energy you need, whether you're a healer or whatever, you still need people to help you. Right. You need people to help you. But for me, it was this spinning in circles, like go over here and over here and over here and over here. And, lots of really crazy, interesting information, but not relevant. It felt like a slow walk. Like, what is the point? Why am I learning all of these things? Like I was getting into like, historical artifacts and where they're placed. And like, it was just crazy. So it can show up in different ways. And I'm so grateful that I had you to help me sort through it. Cause I wouldn't have caught the cues or saw the cues that, something wasn't quite right. If, I hadn't worked with you.
And I think that, when spiritual leaders are just leaders in general, okay, I'm going to throw everybody in this bucket together, that, you said something really important, and that is that you need support. The CEO of an organization doesn't answer the phones.
No.
And massage therapists have a massage therapist. And,
it's true.
Most people who do something to assist others has that same counterpart doing for them. I have a healer. I have a gatekeeper and grid master. I have someone who helps me co-create when I need to create something or I need to manifest something. I have my abundance consciousness guru, Jodie. You know, I have a lot of support people who support me in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
So am I the channel? Yes. Can I receive information in an instant? Absolutely. Do I still need a channel in my life? Do I still need a healer in my life? Yeah, I absolutely do. I need these people in my life because it's hard to see the picture when you're standing inside the frame.
Yeah. Boom. Mic drop. I love that. It's hard to see the picture when you're standing inside the frame. So true. And it takes a village. It really does.
Totally.
A village. Scott asked a question, and we have a couple more minutes, but I would love to hear the answer. He asked, how does your heart space come into your channel work?
That is a great question. He's asking all of the questions today, Scott.
He just wants to know.
He wants to know. So there's various aspects of how, like various ways that your heart space comes into channeling. I utilize my heart space in my channeling when I need to self-verify. So when I receive information and I'm unsure, or if I need to just like kind of quickie check something without having to go through all the rituals to open the channel to receive the information, I will bring the information into my heart space and I'll ask it whether or not it's true. Because the thing about your heart space is that it will never lie to you, ever. It is where your soul resides. It's where your divine spark resides. Everything that is you on a spiritual level is in your heart space. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will go with gut feeling. Gut feeling is the seat of your intuition. This is different than your heart space. So you can get this gut feeling and you're like, oh, something's going to happen in your gut. Well, that's your intuition going, yoo-hoo, I have a thing for you. There's going to be a thing coming up. Just want to let you know. And so you're getting in your gut and you're like, oh, God, my gut. Okay, this is the butterflies, oh, he's going to kiss me, I think I might throw up. He's going to kiss me, whichever way you want to look at it, right? Okay, this is your intuition giving you the alert that, yoo-hoo, something's going to happen, right? But what Scott's asking about is when you want to know whether or not it's true, take it, bring it down into your heart space and say, is this true or is this untrue? This is your yes or no question for all of you who love yes or no questions, right? You can bring anything into your heart and get an answer. Hopefully that answers his question.
I think so.
I use it when I am checking and verifying stuff that if it's true or not, when I'm not like in my channel verifying information.
So typically when you're in your channel, you're not in that heart space. You're not verifying that stuff. You're verifying it with them.
Well, no, I am in my heart space. That's a great question. And I can see how that could be confusing. It's like the information comes in and like when I'm bringing in the being, I'm checking the vibration against my heart space. Like there's a whole like energetic exchange that's happening as the information is coming in.
Right.
So yes, I am using my heart space in that time. But if I am, say, verifying information for you, you've received some information and you need verification. I will bring in your beings. I'll bring in my beings and then I will verify this way. Right. And so it's like a whole conversation of verification. And if there's something that it's like, I'm getting a little difference here, a little difference here, a little difference here, then I'll bring it all into my heart and I'll go, which one is accurate? And then I'll verify.
You know, there is a lot going on outside of the frame, you know, more than what you see, more than what I see. And there is a ton to this craft that you have mastered, that you practice. And, you know, it's so easy for you because you've been doing it for so long. And, you know, this is what you teach people, but it's so incredibly special, Heather. These skills that you have acquired along the way that you have learned them, the practice that you have, it's absolutely incredible. And I have to say, for sure, best money I have ever spent, completely changed my life. Like I don't know that I would have made as many leaps and bounds without you, without your channel and that guidance, as I have up to this point since meeting you, almost 2 years ago?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Or maybe even a little more.
Yeah.
Might be more than 2 years.
Maybe.
Oh.
A lifetime. It's amazing. I think we're out of time. But I'm so glad that we got to just gush over you and what you do for the world, because I think it is so incredibly special. And I think you have 2 spots left within your private container. So if somebody wants to, you know, chat with Heather about that, you know, what's your website again?
It's mysoulgate.com. So
Right.
mysoulgate.com. We'll put the link below for you. Yeah.
Amazing. And there's only 2 left because you don't have that many spaces. I mean,
right. When I work with somebody one-on-one, I only take like small number of people at a time, because it's a very high touch opportunity. So, you know, if someone's, you know, a channel and they want to, you know, clean house, I'm your girl.
Yeah. Or channel your next program with God at your side, or figure out your purpose and be led. And, you know, like the
world is your oyster.
Yeah. There's an abundance of things that you do that are so incredible. So check out Heather's website, connect with her, get into one of those spots. If you feel like you're being called to something bigger, I cannot say it enough. The verification, the certainty, the feelings that I had after our very first meeting together, I knew, all right, this is the lifetime. This is what I'm here for. And that has gotten me through so much. Yeah, I'm eternally grateful. So thank you, Heather.
Well, the pleasure's been mine. And everybody stay tuned for next week. We are going to meet the Freedom Keeper. So that is our episode next week. We hope you all join. It's going to be wonderful and extraordinary. Be sure you like us, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell all your friends. It really does help us, you know, get the word out for everybody. And yeah, Jodie, thank you. This was wonderful. I just love you dearly.
I love you too. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week.
Woo! Bye.